가장기 대름 다도 재미있는 다 단대 공부하고 시내 가장이만 뭐 그때 원리를 지금 사직 치료치고요. 시내 치료가 다 디슈야. 근데 가장은 또 만진원한테 다 감정 도와줄 캠프 가수로 아 생리지당 capture 바자 갱 망치를 같이로 쇼도 그리고 될 때는 다 라베 인진 체로 들다가 나는 바자 대양 토도 진행하는 된 바자 파 세마투도 아니 데려야 가수래 참지 유대양은 토부토 소리치 다디세 토블이야 다 기당기랑 우리 아니 이렇게 싫어 방제니 망고지 장거를 장신배가 싫어 거랑이야 하고 전이랑 유비 초로 전수도 이제 봤다 좋은데가 야 고고좀 소리지 참 아 진짜지 인들가 다 됐어 여기 다 강다 싱그 전바디 한국 대중만 가수래 돌치려야 상부 발자 신 예샤 그 상부 발자 샤야 상부 발자 안에 유대 기타는 시비 이내 다디 주 공식 공직이 체도원 지비관 다 상부 발자 출리냐 체도로 도마를 담고 다 람비스미 카파마다야 체도로 도마를 스미 네토야지 개중 장도.
So when we look the schedule today, seems to this afternoon, topic is about karma biting. And Rinpoche said he remember a few years ago he gave in teaching on this topic of the karma biting. Seems like nobody come yet, so we'll go through again one more. That's my word. So fake news. So this is what is the reason is it we are in the samsara. Samsara is with the conceptual thought. That conceptual thought is we habituated continually, and that habituation is become really thick that then our cause to rebirth in the samsara become a really heavy or strong. So that reason generally for the liberation from the samsara is necessary to have wisdom. But sometimes that wisdom is also become a part of the conceptual thought, because through the wisdom too we analyze, through the wisdom too we have a what called that discriminated. So that way it's also become a kind of like a conceptual thought. So we need to free our mind through this conceptual thought of the grasping of the dualistic. So through the karma biting, and we mind more bring to the focus more mind is bring more to the insight or in the facing in the Tibetan said facing in, because until now pretty much our thought and minds pretty much function or activity is facing out, which is mean that just always be analyzed on the outer way of phenomena. So here that like a karma biting meditation, which is a calm our mind by habituating by the kind of focus on the inner or keeping insight.
가려 이게 주신 거야. 당연한도 범주가 로체도 간로 로도 남시디로야. 대시파 뉘데 소리 차掉了. 대인도 간로 아니 공군 무신의 무슨에 원주들이야. 아니 显露过你刚不是送不行路，他头毛当我显报老过的，他头毛考完了，一下考过，顶上就他工作个六千就讲了，那头毛的老多那么些的出公家开清场，他不是说个天教个没绿的，他你不搞的，他的你搞了咱们一个偏下乡的苹果嘛的，没得被去年，也没得被去年得了样，他得了样来啥，上海几十个上面的顶考完了强的。레중데 그래서 코르데고 이뭐 다 기타한 게 뭐네 다 코아기 니믹라서 무슨 수상도 단 심벌로 봐야 돼. 정말 다 쓰는 나는 국지 조를 직장 거였어. 긴게는 모두 쓴 바코알 차대 왔어.
So for this calm abiding or mind getting into the peace, can say yeah? Mind getting into the peace. First, we have to know what is the characteristic of the samsara, what is the characteristic of the nirvana, what is the nature of samsara, what is the nature of nirvana. So without the knowing this, and cannot train the mind. So there's two way to this one is started like generally it can say in that a scholar or can say yeah philosophically Buddha taught as a Four Noble Truth. So Four Noble Truth is a two are characteristic of the samsara or two are characteristic of the nirvana. So philosophically you learn this one is by through the Four Noble Truth, and practical meditator or they said and stabilizer or practitioner, and we learn this through the for training of the mind. So basically for training of the mind and for immeasurable, I mean for training of the mind and for noble truth, not much different, pretty much similar. So by learning this for training of the mind, then we will gain some kind of a this can feel like discuss thought, not like feel like kind of like a knowing of the faults of samsara. So you will gain the renunciation by knowing of a faults of samsara. So that's in the Tibetan called the shambaloba, like you don't want any more that, fed up, kind of like a like a not really that's a little bit too strong, but I mean that needs that kind of strong fed up, but something that kind of like you no longer want to be part of that, so for this, so you have to go through the four training of the mind by this understand of this. First you have to understand the precious human body, quality of the human, why there's a preciousness, and even this preciousness is impermanent because it is no what called not forever. And the third one is this all the impermanent because of the karma, and karma is how function in the samsara, so knowing of the faults of samsara. So by this it will gain some degree of a renunciation from the samsara. So that way first we have to go through this thought for training of the mind.
박장님 톱저도 강래야 계시 대상 현보의 대상 로는 람상 박장님의 경향의 파요상의 남미를 제도 다 단계의 로도 남시당 라소의 되게 최대의 주 양자 수를 전수다. 그 전수 방법의 람상 현보 로토 이는 전수 제가 개체의 장고 전수 제그 일러 대코주 바자의 쉬르의 주 상고샤의 주 자한의 dem remshi de nubo de cher 딩코하기 남규 소포에 토레 That and they choose then double metabol so double with the choose so you to jam the jam and then you toilet and the similar chamber the name you can there on to jam you can ya and it double chuni in ba some so get ni shi de there's live right the chamber those
revulsion. Yeah. So so first we have to know the faults of samsara. So through the faults of samsara too, then we will have this revulsion or renunciation. But sometimes we will have this certain point, we will have a kind of like a feeling of disgust, feeling of disgust, can say?
Disgust.
Yeah, feeling of disgust. But even we have a time to time feeling of disgust, it not stay there too long, because our habitual tendency or is so thick, so we become again with the friendly with that environment, so so that way it's hard to continue have that feeling of knowing the faults of samsara, because it will forget easily that feeling of renunciation. So forget easily. Reason why we forget easily is because our many lifetimes this habituation is so strong, so that way we forget. So now through this meditation, like fortune of the mind, again and again and again, then we build more like the strength of that renunciation, revulsion. Yeah.
kita 우리가 코에 님이 신 비강다 근데 취득이 누구라도 무슨 방법은 미다로 차샤오는 고단도 수수 기부 값을래 미다버는 그 두시의 내용도 있나 근데 내려야 현차치 못 맞춰 랑가를 가지고 샤도 맞지 내려야 레도가 전부 내대 참 다음에는 동네 전부를 이제 레인도 간래 미다왜 그런 신이만 뒤에 두시 상고 샤된 거지 있나 네 동네 친구들다 레신 잠들지 모셔 그 균도 매저 코로나 나로 되게 좀 요새 매도 코로나 하고 그다음에 춘이 이거 하고 됐습니다. 지금 되는 거です. 이래도 형들가 랑신 그 최다가 랑게랑 심 수시 시와 참고 춘이 코로나랑 있는 거를 봤어.
So like a knowing of the faults of samsara, and this what called the feeling of what called impermanent. So when we know that, for example, impermanent, then it bring you to the mind to the what called the state of the peaceness. How to bring to the mind to the peaceness is like when you have something this wonderful going on, everything, you not have that much attached. You have a feeling of this is also not that long I will have. So you don't have an attachment, and grasping on that is not that strong. Even something so wonderful happen in your life, you will become less kind of too excitement. Then at the same time, when things go wrong, things come in a bad way, like problem, there's whatever problem, each one have their own kind of problem. And when you have a problem, then at that time also not going to be so kind of like sad or how to say
affected.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not too deeply impact by that problem, because these too shall pass. So because of that reason, so by knowing that one, actually your mind bring to the some degree of a peace, because of those, no matter what happens, situation good or bad, and not going to be too attached or too angry or too upset from that. So that is what is mean that bring to the calm abiding, calmness or peaceness. In the Tibetan said abiding on the peace, actually sure never. So that abiding in the peace is by knowing of this kind of meaning of the, like for example, impermanent, and it will help to reducing this. We have a strongly grasping, let go from that strongly grasping on the good things happen or bad things happen. So mind, by knowing itself, by knowing like impermanent itself, bring to the really some degree of a state of the meditation, of a calmness of the mind.
Dinem Koran yang loss to the top to Shines to young law, Janity, so to law, so the loss to the hill. But on the hill, one some to come on the day, party down the gunner, nothing could shoot on the true, Chuni and Koran, and him she was net. Didn't do Maranzo, young Ellie devils to Shivan, young Ellie devils here you are. Dillon Jim Koya turn short yard, Yatra convich, you can young Ellie devil come out of the here. To move on the Chevin, and simply no what is Mashua. Nothing Koran and network, the dirty shield ones.
So actually, if you go look this way, and whatever you learn, educationally or philosophically, all those all those are bring you to the state of the peace, and there's no extra or no separate some kind of meditation without then just all what you know and apply that one in yourself. But sometimes people think, oh, this is education, then meditation is somewhere else. You have to go to somewhere, you have to sit some certain position, and by that one you gain some kind of meditations. So it's actually those are not really separated. Whatever you learn from there to bring you to mind to that nature state of the peace, from that that information, that wisdom bring to the nature state of the peace. And so that way we call the Buddha is called the peace and nirvana. Why is this? Because all those defilement and those source of suffering is aimed, so that way there's a reach to that one. So this one is reaching that state of the nirvana as by knowing of this through this education or this I can say knowledge. Through this knowledge you can bring to the state of the calmness or state of the nirvana. So that is actually a meditation, because in the Buddhism we call the Tibetan called the Nangba. Nangba means the facing inner face. So we analyze our own mind, try to see our inner beauty or whatever you call. That is the really main point is. So we're not going to be like learn something and try to find something else somewhere else, through the, it's called the name of the retreat or meditation or so. Those two cannot be kind of like separate, do not have to be separate. So when you look at the meaning of the Dharma, the Buddha's teachings, always bring into that state of the calmness, of the peaceful. So for that, then we need a certain degree of a condition of the physically, mentally, how to sit, how to think. Those all is a part of that bring. But truly is just building the habitual tendency on that meaning, that what you learn, and the more you build the habitual tendency on that meaning, you bring closer to that state of the suchness or a state of the inner nature. You can say inner nature, yeah. So that's so okay.
다 링켄지 유다고 다 송진기가 short words 된 데가 다 단대기 추서 뭐 탈랑되니 송진디를 대버지 셰고 보았어 된 송진디 대발라 방법 추코랑 송진 송유르데 진켄 코랑기 오고 있는다 양의 추니 있나 네 뭐시 버죠 네 뭐신도게 탈라 다 단대 추리래
So when come to our mind is overpowered by the ignorant and defilement or afflicted emotions. So then from this conceptual of ignorance, we have a grasping on the dualistic thought. So by that one, then we bring to the state of the, can say samsara, but how to liberate from that. So you need maybe she only torch wala using namdo tele torch wala. Oh, so that's you know how to liberate from this conceptual of a dualistic essay by receiving wisdom from the holy dharma or such Satta dharma or Buddha dharma.
다들 남바당 체니는 시행 두강을 다 직추와 이거 동네이보다 다 망고 시행과 직도 네 말소리 남바디다 추버세요 단 동네 매보라 소버디 여기 기지 시행고에서 대중은 당가랑 좀 신의 장야디 반다 추베원의 제일 계시고에서 대인지 추버딜로 뭐 당고 담배 추수 뭐 시부지 추버이 이내 추버딜 세트업 탑람딜 때문에 다티 파 가수를 숨수 나도 수중 좀 취니 코랑 뭐 콜 추다야 다 말하는 무슨 쇼다 무슨 나도 추티야 쇼들라고 그랬어.
So this all source of whatever samsara, nirvana, or conceptual is all source is what called the producer or creator is the mind itself is the all the source. So that way we kind of like a inner facing or focusing inner mind itself, try to find that source itself is built more like a more positive habitude, you know, habitude is bringing to that state of the, you know, dharma, what we receive teaching from that to by like a come abide into mainly it's a kind of like a more training the mind itself, this mind that one which is the source of samsara and nirvana both.
도치리아 네 메다보 고말라서 보다 간다 박장 년버디게 도치 제 상부를 나버려 추고가 차버리스 대인도가 나랑 쪽에 다 취집에 떡수비 박제 먹는 거도 어디 박제디 시치리아 얘는 잠들어서 보다 되게 네 말아 좀 남주리 고물이 로체인도가 다 단도 bom차라서 보다 되게 해야 돼 샤버리스.
So mind, its own nature is the suchness or non-duality, pure. But because of the we are, there's like a two kind of one is somebody who realizing in that nature state, and they have a pure or kind of understand or realization of its own nature, which is the free from elaboration. And certain like ordinary beings because of the not realizing that nature, then we have a dualistic conceptual thought. So based on the being who have this kind of dualistic conceptual thought, so we have to practice this like a stage by step, like a practice meditation on the 420 of the mind, for example. So this the preliminary practice, like a common preliminary practice on the meditation on the impermanent, and so those are basically freeing yourself from the bad habit. Like for example, we meditate on the impermanent. From the meditation on the impermanent too, and we eliminate the bad habit of laziness. Yeah, so this kind of method to bring to the actually put on the effort to continue practice the Dharma. So we have to for the entry into the Buddha Dharma, the mind enter into the Buddha Dharma, you have to eliminate those all bad habit or negative environment for that. Then also a Dharma practitioner facing lots of obstacles. We have lots of sickness and this and that, different obstacle. You will challenge. Your challenge comes. So how to eliminate or how to free yourself from this kind of challenge? Then you have to do the practice of the refuge.
람로라 족대 추진에 추 가르고 삼내 디다보기다 지금 시민나 채봐 아니 그 소화 튠기 있는 좀 되버지 된 류기 나사양 용되버지 아니 수수 코류 파모 튠지 있는 직랑 담배 취제고 될 가수 지수이랑 딱 간다베 튠지 담고 좀 되버지 용야다 아니 이게 그 용되를 지금 용시고这个样啊，都他们看到许多东西去了，得到线路去前面一那样，他们这去的呀，我说就马拉呗，说了这几，样那几钱他妈这的，然后东哎这几那些有的说这旁边亚马青年说了这到可留给去呀个上过去专门做到不，他听这个那就忙过去穷过的是。他的穷这个早期的卡来是呢，他的写过去成文嘛，那个南北就讲用这个电力的写过的是，用这个电机，他的其他的用过有下就讲了，当然推荐的喷作用呀切度，通过地内嘛，错啥呀，免这不要的，让个另外艺术的地质讲样了的，大概多生功点了说的，这就是嘛人百姓的内容。
Like even two people joined same time in the Buddhism, you joined the same time, you took refuge the same time, and even you have start with the same time, but there's always a come result different. There's a lots of different comes, one maybe more successful, financially more successful, health-wise more healthier, and also have an environment like your parent, your friend, your the family, everyone more supportive to your whatever you make decisions, and all the seems like everything is on the right track. Everything's really go well. Then other one, and as even you are doing same things, you have lots of different ways of struggling by the lack of support from the parents, support from the lack of support from the family, lack of support from the financial, lack of support from the health wise. Lots of things, challenge things comes, even two people join same time, and each one have their own circumstance. Some are more favorable, some are less favorable conditions facing. So this is because of even this life, your same time doing same things, but outcome result is different. Because of it's related to the past lives karma, so that way we need more accumulated merit through the offering mandala and purifying our negative karma through the practice of the Vajrasattva. So through that too, the reason is we have to deal past lives karmically conditioned too. So because of that reason, as the outcome, there may be different. Even you are same classmate, but maybe your knowledge is different. Your improvement is different, and there are lots of things that not necessarily always come same result. So those are a lot of things as related to the from the past lives, good and bad karma, whatever you so that reason we have to purify all those negatives from the past through like accumulation through practice of a mandala to accumulate the merit, and practice of vajrasattva to purify negative karma.
생기 춘이는다 말한 생기 뭐고 또 봐라요 가시 주름 보고 가시 양배들랑가를 도부지를 간에 다 또봐요 또 버렸어 다 들려야 가르치고 가르침전 투고 저기가는 다 본인 인지 송조랑 속다 라마 내조된 투고 버렸어 띵도 가라야 띵 진로 주번 무글 개천부 참 버렸어 진로 주고 이랑 무글이랑 이 시에 보시 춘이 생신 시외랑 양내기 동 인지될 시에 이랑이야 당분에 바자 상부디 쇼 첨부지 여비나 디젠디 라무 추구지 페이원에 디랑 생기 뭐랑 뭐들이라 이조도 뭐 띵도 라메 친럽 주야 되는 개천부 참 버렸어 이 친럽 되게 가르쳐 버렸어 무글들이야 가르쳤나 落 number 到线了嘛，学不自己的 number 就不会是两头上，这到不去用不呢？这进了被就不就，这就讲他第什么地方，我地方，去你地方，自己都那样切多了，他那面人就方便，你得广播的累。
So even we have done the purification, practice of purification, practice of the refuge, practice of the mandala for accumulation, but still when come to the realization of the nature of a mind, and outcome is not always the same. So when come to the nature of realization of the nature of a mind, or inner nature of a mind, as a is a necessity to have a devotion, not just a devotion, as called the one-pointed devotion, without the kind of distraction, one-pointed devotion. So that is it. Who have a stronger that kind of one-pointed devotion, and that one gain to quicker to the realization of that inner nature of a mind. And some are who are not that stronger enough, and they have a less quicker. So that reason, even we have done all those preliminary, but sometimes it have not enough, certain being have a quicker realization, some have a slower. So this is the reason is a lack of the devotion. So when you have a guru, devotion of the seeing guru as an embodiment of the wisdom and compassion of the Dharmakaya, and one pointedly you have that one devotion, then realization of the inner nature of a mind, which is the truly naturally or primordially pure, that one, and you will have a what called have realization by the guru devotion of the seeing the so that reason we need the guru yoga to train our mind to the bring to the path, bring to the devotion of our mind.
다 경제 된지 리고 동이 랑소 코란 동이 코란 랑 임버디 디 땡케디 라마데 참 디인도 강을 지된수 동이 경제 된지도 소지 차인 시에다 다 디가랑 좀 라면 내주 고스 있는 라마디 동반이 동이 경제의 샤통에 다디 모두 지내디 람바데 다디다 보고 다 동이 수 경제를 수 되는 만아주 간다 봐 동이 최고랑 파상데 차더와 다디 추고랑 거랑 힘이 뭐데 동이 경제 수 되는 일이 다디 람바데 차 근데 가라 기준 나를 뒤떨어 배송 선 추고 모든 람마이 드르메데 소와디 선 송진도 마다 나로 봤어 다디 다 계절에 동이
추고 senchugo
모두 람마이 드르메데 소와디 선 송진도 마다 나로 봤어 이 다 동이 경제를 땡게디 람마디 다 추고 람 뭐네 람 코란 뒤다 보고 도도
determined so that
심송진도 마다
senso mada okay by learning dharma through the dharma education study we will reach mind to the realization of emptiness can say mind can bring to the by I think through the education through the study through the philosophically mind bring into the state of the emptiness but who can bring to the emptiness as an appearance of the what called interdependent appearing within the emptiness. So that is through the guru's oral instruction. Through the guru's oral instruction too, then by realizing the within the state of the arising interdependent of a cause and result, emptiness as arising independent of cause and result. So by analyzing interdependent, we realize the emptiness, but reaching from the emptiness to arising as a interdependent, as a only gain through the guru's oral instruction. So that reason need the gurus. So that way, Tilubas, there's a Vajar song said, who can introduce or who can show that our nature of our mind as the Dharmakaya is the guru. So supplicated, inseparable, like not without the separating. Do they remember saw them? Senchugo oh Senchugo want lama yes. Do they remember saw this? Didn't they shoot it? Shoot it. Oh, then said, don't see mind as a grasping of the subject and object. So that is the what is it mean the guru devotion mean the mind realizing the mind of a free mind free beyond the conceptual of a subject and object of the union of the emptiness and the compassion. By that one is a ultimately supplication to the guru. So Lama I mean the someone who can show the nature of a mind as also inseparable of the interdependent, yeah, within the nature of a mind or emptiness arising as an independent. I think yeah. So that is what is Guru devotion mean and
다 뒤도 단대 시야가 신도게 아니 기단게 아니 다마 그 주생부 내로 또 칠이야 다 보는 게 좀보다 많대 다디 시대에 단대 시야는 뭐다 먼저 때다 아니 라면 내줘 뒤에 개천부터 차는 거였어 인도가 다 공부 실행 그런 말 레고
So that for realization of that or innate nature of our mind, we have to build the foundation, that realization. So this is a common preliminary and uncommon preliminary. These are the foundation of how to realizing this inner nature of a mind by like a fortune of the mind and like a refuge guru yoga, vajrasattva, and so and so.
다 뒤도 먼저 쉬디 이게 딱 말하는 건 유시하고 시기 아니 시야 강백이 정말도 우이스 개천보 이송 거야 이제 이게 지금 야고지 차 못도 있는 단대 시합을 랑신데 아니 초사야 저거대 야강 장마도 이는 랑 신의 동는 인지 손주가 장당의 모든 포모도 랑 단도가 됩대 라마라야 아니 거수래 단대 시합을 신고 주부 두시대 지도 될 때는 가는 만한 당보 기상 망책이 생원주가 당고 취되려야 반 남이를 이제 네 점조스로 맞춰 봐. 도만 있는 거나 벨네가 선주고 고랑 월에 수 방도 다랑 집에 가는 다들 다와 치부장 시에가 전에 당 모조를 내 지고를 아니 미로 이샤를 제대로 단단한 시에불랑 신기 다 샘딩원에 디도 동이 주고 된 중중대도 샤투니지 딱 갈래 가고 참고 단단하지 거의 공리시도 야 좋고 양나 소소원에 지금 합소래 양니 체 토부지 라모당 아 디도自己 목요일조지는 다 용시고 아 디다고 매번 전리지 다 시에베 신고 취디 인베 소라직다 할랑 일라마라다 단다 시에는 중대 된지 따라지 매보다 동바이 바삼보 삼로소라지 당 당만도 잡진이 뭐 있으니서 적지 있으니서 방고 주의 있으니지 다가시 양파지 가수를 잡진스는지 로스지 유대버지 만다르지 나 리포스 뒤간에 양선의 대회를 시에주스는 대회시에 양 리포스 뒤 양파지 진대 리포를 좀 보셔도 다들 레서라지 되는게 남주에 보면 뒤 동도를 챙기게 남주가 주고 당 원주고 취다고 냠링 취디게 봐 요는 제고 말이나 아니 답배고 심거나 내가 동도시가 지금 다들 내 챙기고 핑고만 가르스는 단다 시에는 시 동이 준대도 샤모도 그거 거 다가랑 겐들 레인들 강 이거랑 저도 다모도 강 겐 다가랑 랑다 좀 다디 좀인도 강가 남주기 다 냠린 샤마를 지내를 줘 항에서는 하고 쌤도 초비하고 땡시되어 말고 뒷매도 강가 다 될래 독도 대야를 봐가需要뭐 잡야 다 강타다 다 참고 니마 그런도 다고 잡지 참고 수도 띵가랑도 셰브 주고 많이 그런도 다 좋아도 지내 몸도 투고 미망고 도도 아마 롱도 때 참말로 배도 간다 tanto 당연하도 있는 출샤만하는 그 마치세야 되게 참치 그래도 다 이제 많이 보거나 눈에 재는 상로하고 당 중문신 코랑 알바 당고로 원룸은 방시하고 저 되는 무엇이 등원에 취의 양파와 지고 다샤쟁이 저기 침이는 그랑 것은 수수수수의 시지 정도 되게 최도 중국을 대소서 딩주대 걔는 남자 윤도게 남윤 초에 토려야 말하면 윤진 냠링 내줘 되게 참고 코랑차 제도니지 대조 제고에는 대조 제고 초사에는 초사도 당연히经验的 그때 최인도가 때문에经验 토지치도 랑주 당도 다가랑 다 니도 니가 양는 그 코랑 예부 취체 뭐 오늘 랑심 다가랑 간 서위 샤통내주는 당연히 돈이 준대 샤는 당연히 내주 차도 없어 공문에 공장 거
So I try to remember all of them. So this is like a preliminary practice. It's the building the foundation of the meditation. Without those foundation, these days people kind of obsess with a kind of like a advanced subject, as advanced subject, and they try to grasping on those certain subject, and they said, oh, I meditate on this and that, like seems really high. And those are actually kind of more like a kind of abusive of the Dharma. I don't know, it's maybe something like that. So because you're not really, it's kind of deceiving, so something, not really going through the step-by-step of the system way to how to build that one. And you're just talking some kind of like advance or some high level of the Mahamudra, Dzogchen, Rigpa, and things like this and that. But then problem is, if you can remain on that, then that is wonderful, and certain people can do that one, like a really high level Lama, and really like a, suitable vessel of a certain disciple. And they may possible to can remain, go through that one without any kind of foundations, can do that one. But lots of time problem is we have this kind of a fantasy of living on the fantasy life of the high realization. Then, every day is not really your fantasy life is going to remain that way, because as long as you are in the samsara, the fantasy is not always be pleasant that what you assume, and there is a circumstance come that is not make you unpleasant. Then when that unpleasant circumstance come, then you don't know what to do. And it build that one is a more, angry and go, then it's become later, slowly, then you have to start from the bottom, that some people saying, I don't need I don't need this and that. I have to, I'm this, high level of those. They just try to grasp me on that and try to live that fantasy a little while. But then actually reality is not work that way. Then later they have to, have to start from the beginning. That what they say earlier, they say, I don't need those things, then they have to start from there. So those are kind of like a, it's impossible to go through without the, it doesn't work with the jumping on the gun, it's not going to work. So you shouldn't live with that kind of, so it's so build from the foundation to gone to the step by step. If you've gone through the, the systemic way or whatever called the stage way, name of the stage of the path. If you follow that one stage of the path, then the day you have whatever your circumstance come, and you can tolerate, or you can, kind of like even all those unfavorable condition can become a supportive of your practice. Make sense? So then you don't need some kind of antidote, some kind of another support for purifying that unfavorable condition. Yeah. So if you went through the like a two stage, you can say two stage. Like a kind of right way. Then those in the later, you don't have to what called disturb. You will not disturb it by that kind of a unfavorable circumstance. So those are two practitioner can deal no matter what happened, and without disturbing your mind or disturbing yourself from that circumstance, and you can learn how to maintain your practice same way. So that is is because of the someone who have to have a capable to seeing the emptiness as a appearance of independent. Can say emptiness as a appearance independent. That it considers so it mean I think basically whatever mean that, so whatever circumstance you can see that circumstance itself is emptiness. Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So then no matter what happened, it's not going to bother. So whatever happened, it's not going to bother you because you recognizing it, what it is. So the true nature is. So then I think so that way I think have to go through this like A to B, B to C. Yeah. So like Jidesungwen and a lot of Kaji master, they always emphasizing, saying as a preliminary is a more profound than actually practice. The reason is because the preliminary, through the preliminary to then build a strong foundation. From the strong foundation to then went to the actually practice is called the beyond the concept of the discursive expression, beyond the expression. Beyond the expression is only realizing through this all the training of the by building strong foundation. Otherwise, it's not it's not really stable on that. When you reach into that actually practice, it said, oh, beyond the expression, then it's kind of like some there's no really basis become. So as long as you build a strong preliminary foundation, then all the rest become more stable. So that way, as this preliminary teaching of the Ngondro, those are more what called the that's that way they call that this is more profound.
And simply around the business, long Yumbaji Dasha. That did over 10 she nigi, and then Chembeg Tapa dig to Semni, and then Shishing and the Joju call to Junzan, language Junchilla, Joju sort of one as to the Lam Shingi, Shishi did Charatin around Sobata. In Dugala, simply Nedo Meadow, Chembo the Shodo model Daniels. Show보다 딱 톱다가 다가랑 참 거랑 밥되었지. 딱과 따먹었지. 뒤도 이게 다 진심만이 쌤이 송되지. 다 당고 뒤준고. 시원해요.
So this common abiding or mind rest in the peace. Mind rest in the peace, not the rest in peace. So,
You're dead.
Yeah. So the mind rest in peace is not dead. So she will never actually rest in peace. Mari, injina rest in peace and mishi kyoto. Sim. My. So this through this preliminary practice, then actually practice as a like a karma abiding is become a part of the actually practice. So we bring to the mind in the state of the peace. How to bring to the mind state in the peace or so calm, or is it because we have the habit of a mind kind of like a running here and there after the grasping on the appearance of the phenomena. So minds always be kind of outgoing. So now we have to bring the mind in a state through the mindfulness, and the mindfulness and the watchfulness to mind is a train. So that is what is mean the meditation on the karma abiding as a mind is a training to try to rest in the without being like a conceptual running after the conceptual thought. Yeah, so it's just mind is it just so how to do is it like there's a quote saying is it like a madness of the elephant of the mind as a trained by what called the hook of mindfulness, and then the hook of the mindfulness and lash can say leash, not the leash of the mindfulness. La leash with the hook of the mindfulness, temperature you, and watchfulness of temperature, yeah, temperature. So xixing is so there's a mindfulness or watchfulness. So mindfulness is like a hook or leash. The tied the mind is to the pillar of a focal object. Then watchfulness is always make sure remain on the mindfulness. So make sure that mind stay on that state of the mindfulness. So it's like a watcher. Watcher is a kind of make sure there's no enemy no thief comes.
Watchfulness similar to awareness or different?
So that watchfulness is not awareness. It's I think a little bit different. More like you Watchman. Yeah, so more like watchman from the you saw the White House. There has a lot of watchmen on the roof. Similar like that. Security watchman, and the mindfulness is security at the gate. Stop you. So basically, it's a watchfulness. It's a watching to those security do your job or not. Make sure they not let come those. So similarly, watchfulness is like make sure that not losing the mindfulness. Make sure that remain on the mindfulness. Yeah.
Vigilance.
Yeah.
Vigilance.
The guard.
Yeah. So this is that way mindfulness and the watchfulness. So it's through these two, then mind is a kind of like a train and the stay in the calmness of this state of the inner kanadutawa, inner facing to can say facing to the in.
Turning inward.
Turning inward, yes, training inward. Yes.
시월 내탕이야다 공공공공땅 제윤도강이야 아니 루심니톤이 제고 디인도 가려서는 다 위단스 니된다 템바는 지금 제인데 윤도강은 류디 대고 맞춤 있나 나 셈데 데스 코란 마데브지 온고 디인도 도마르기다 류덴도 샤타 도윤도강은 도마르 류디 데스 지고 대고 용고스 류 대고 용은 야 셈을 신데데 참 인도가 다 류기 주술 독당 개정 참고 인도가 남 류기 다 가산이마 시에서 남남 추드 라서 다제 돈은 야과 아 데이터고 제 모토고 있네야 아니 남 류기 말아도 시에 신도 아니 계속 여봐 계속 그런거지 데이터 배는 국가지 간 대위네 계속 정책 지도와 대화냐 지체는데 이제 소리지 데이터는 플러시기 대도지. 한배는 마 예대네 바카도 그러지. 그러나 예대위는 양쪽쪽 줄이 잡대서라는데 많이 봐. 만년에 공부인에 카두르지 대대버지 소소 여러 간단 종디 딱지단 류드 장고지 내고 그랬어. 아 종나나 단다 시험이 나는 남나 주도 도지 지중라서 왔다. 나는 단다 제야들을 제 자와다. 나는 맥아 라서 태가를 똑바가서를 솔 나도 맥 나지 된 따와다. 한번 거 고쇼다 장와라서 왔다. 류 냥샤다 부지 리처를 펜토를 누가나 류드 냥데 라버디. 아니 대외워도 아니 됐어. 소모마토 마리 좀 샤야가 다들 리체는 뭐네 심송 약간 체도 거래서.
So this how to mind train as a this habit, the bad habit mind, how to train as a through the meditation. So this kind of meditation, because the sense our body and mind kind of right now, so long as it's together, and both have to be on the boat. Can say boat on the boat. Say, yeah, the both have to agree.
On the same page.
Yeah, on the both have to be on the same page. If a mind is not on, can say boat on the boat?
On board.
On board.
On board.
Yeah, both on board. I try to use American slang. So the first, mind, body, essential point of the body, there's called the 7 posture of Buddha Bharojana. Even you cannot do all 7 completely. One is make sure that your spine is straight. The back of the spine is straight. You sit on the chair, wherever you're sitting. The most important is the spine must be straight. Even you lay down, don't be like boom around here there. Just try to be spine straight to lay down, and that to bring to the mind, because more body become relaxed, the mind become on that become that way. So then, if that possible, you can do the meditation sabha posture on the Buddha Bharojana, leg as a Vajra posture, arm, the hand as a sitting on the below the forefinger, below navel, and just barely touching to the thumbs, and shoulder is open, tongue, and those all all those 7 posture is a kind of a perfectly if you can do those, but even you cannot do all of them unless spine must be straight.
Good example.
Yes, just right now. At the moment.
중고상 지금 기타게 약캔데로 많이 봐. 당고야 캔지 캔도가는 보고죠. 약꼼 제 차티. 야 캔도가. 얘네 저거도 막 혹시 말로 차. 딜로다가 이게 지금 당고야 말로 약 차대로. 근데 약을 지대대 버리고 그랬어.
Not like this. Which is said not like this. So if you want to see clearly, okay, never mind. Joking now, said they
말하는 있는 3대 비교스리스. 이니까 결로 경정자리야 야도니 토츠주는 야고스. 그래서 결로 옥스파 몰로치. 이니까 별로 3대 비교스 중요죠. 이 맞춰네 딱 한다 결로 될 디코 띠지 야자니. 베드라면 결로.
제가 참말로 채타지도. So Rinpoche said in this called the samadhi cushion. Samadhi cushion is a kind of like a behind, it's a little bit higher, but not too high. So when you make a spine kind of straight, first even the belly is sucked kind of inside, spine straight, And when you actually raising and let go the belly down, you loose. So when you belly down, kind of back spine, little bit kind of like lower back is a little bit kind of curve. So that way to relax. So it's not like holding like this.
shaking. 다디 이제 가는 만난도 남유기 아니 가지 공맥이 나다 숨을 막고나고 갈디다 갈수록 눈에 이거네 약고지 짜투비는 가시 눈에 코랑 안에 심정식 내차의 니투 송고도 안 먹고 이제가 오늘 개천부 있으래 이제가 도말 남산직 셈 시와 이상 마단에 콜륜에 소소되고 체토 방법 되고 지금 내에서 지하고 상 디가라 내서 수부대도 아 섬들이 셈들 표시 상들가 양심 내적고 눈에 호랑나 내게 생각이 전에 유송고 이건 눈에도 눈에 개쳐.
So all our forefather Kajumas, lot of they saying is by training body bring you to the state of the meditation, because when your body is feel like relaxed, feel comfortable, and by that mind already some degree of relaxedness is there, and some by training the physically posture alone bring to the meditation state, mind into the meditation stage. So make sure that don't rush into the immediate meditation. Make sure that try to find the kind of comfortable zone in your body. So try to sit with a comfortably, sit with a more comfortable. So that is the first is a work with that. Then by itself actually can bring to the mind into the relaxedness of the part of the meditation.
이제가 알아서 망체다 직상의 독단을 제 남나 주도의 제목이 봐. 는 말발로서 도롱아 되는 동대요스. 아니 한국 강보디 도지 좀 많이 봐. 심지다. 그 심지다고 이제가 말이 강보 말아도 유명하게 기조와 이 랑의 산에 주자대. 그렇죠? 이 강보 예보대 다랑 법 샤대. 즉 긴 라권이인데 냠샤 상 자모고 랑포 수분이 주도 샤대지 걔는 공부대 주 양지체 예지 주사 걔는 매일 파 테커 하데는 이제 약에는 자모고지 랑포를 샤대 뜻단 말보다 계주 도로 인수다 니 간에 오늘 배 공급 단도 고르나로다 근데 남북 망고지를 도다 제도에서 도로되고 남북이랑 연대 수시에와
Marba lune na so karso mamba
당고
mare dit ha so the mindil karna
아
mindil
marbe dulu masar
mamba dulum. So you can train the physical body to sitting on the seven posture of Buddha Bharachana. Also there's called the Marbas 5 way of sitting, which is the Marba tradition, and Marba himself said many of those sacred teachings are not compared to learning how to sit on this 5 posture of the seating posture of the Marbas. So leg is kind of called the Bodhisattva posture. That your left what called this?
Left foot.
Heel, left heel. Left heel is more toward to the sacred, and right foot is a kind of a little bit loose. Right is loose. So this one, and hand on the knee, 2, and shoulder more open, 3, and eye gaze into the direct, and tongue and teeth live as a nature, live as a nature. So this is called the Marbas of 5 posture of the Marbas, and Marba himself said many Vajra songs, and this is the what called the really essential posture, and this even cannot compare to the many of teach the what called the instruction cannot compare to on this posture. So even you cannot do the 7 posture of Buddha Bharajana, we should do the marvelous tradition. This is like our forefather.
Eyes slightly down,
I guess direct.
direct,
Yeah.
and then teeth relax.
Yeah, teeth, tongue, everything is relaxed.
I thought your tongue supposed to be on the roof. Am I wrong?
This is different. This is different.
Oh.
How many feet?
Oh,
How many feet gazing?
how many feet?
Yes.
How far are you looking at?
Yeah, 2 feet, then you have to stop. Yeah. So
that kind of
다른도 그제 딱 그랬어. 필미제 되는 맞지. 싹 쳇사야.
일단 따야 따스니까 따야고 제일 좋아.
Hello.
그래서 먼저 그 맥과도 파따 쓰니까 나랑 갈래 가래 있는 맥 누구도 파따야 쓰니까 슉제 파다고 슉제. 아 공정이도 강 슉 파려고 말이지. 슉 군맥도 파랑 신샤대. 그러나 공정이도 강 하대인도 강 출러 유대 버지. 내 추스 맥을 눈을 유대 버지 상당 거스. 당연한 그 정신 공된죠 지금 메인데 맥스도 강 파 가르쳐야 있네 슉제 떠들지. 진짜 그거 말이지. 다 단다 람보샤 쓰니까 맥 코랑 정신 그 코랑 선난 그 설치 다가랑 강바 또이 자대지. 그렇죠? 이 파슉죠 말이지. 추어 슉침도 그런 랑가 가는 거 샤대. 근데
Sube.
저기 샤셔스.
Sube.
So this is really good question. You got 1 point. Rinpoche said this is a really good question because lots of time we have this idea about when I always said gaze, yeah, and look, you know, and we put the effort to try to see that. So it's not about this one because when we're meditating, our more, you know, mainly it's a conscious stay within the us, not like a what called the outsiding through the senses. So when we say meditate, you know, front of us, it's more like kind of getting to the deity is closer to us without the putting effort to try to gaze on that. So have to be stay on the gazing is not about to putting effort to try to see the object outside one. It's just leaving as a natural state of the gaze. So it's not like a, you know, not like a how to say this?
Diffuse.
Not focusing. Yeah, focus.
Not focused.
Yeah,
Diffuse.
diffuse.
Yeah.
Okay.
What diffuse like? Sorry, diffuse
No,
like
it's not
softening.
diffuse.
Yeah.
It's looking straight again.
Yeah, not
Having a
focusing. Like
cup.
since
Yeah.
I sense as a not focusing on the outside. You know, focus must stay within us. Then there's an appearance, whatever. It's a more like appearance is even the deity is a kind of more kind of coming, bring it toward to us. Not we our eye try to reach to them back out.
Allowing it to come to.
Yeah. So it's more like they are two coming to then our eyes reaching to them. Make sense? Something like that. Actually, Tenzila is my earlier, you know, helper to interpreter. His English is much better than mine, so he can help also. No, honestly, he did the translation for me also. Yeah, the one time. Yeah, 20 years ago.
대마 제는 파쇼 체단데 단다시 낙통이 차는데 대신 세단 고난 순뇌돼. 원고 추규 차.
So actually when you using focus, the outreach, the eye consciousness, then problem is that slowly it become a blackout. When you try to reach out and slowly black out, and that blackout impact to your mind stream, mind state of the mind, and become it that way. So that way, when you're not trying to reaching the outside phenomena, by then living as a nature state of the relaxedness. When you live as a nature state of relaxedness, then mind have there's called the luminosity. That luminosity of the mind is a kind of stay same way. Then also eyes is a kind of like a whatever gaze remain on that label of the clarity. Can say, yeah. So then it's not going to impact of the darkness of blacking out.
Laser.
Laser?
아, 등기 쉬우. 될라 시. 강보 될래 야 등기 쉬우. 강보 예보들 라요 될래. 시발무스. 그래서 부모 비체와다 자 원보 수수 개발했으니까 예 강보 예보들 라로 되는 소리. 기름 제하네. 어제 양 유연보들 주로 유대스로 또 띠도 내 개발요 뭐야 삼로 넘버 코아마로 코 예보 나로 있는 수수 그 자고 그러다. 띠들랑 자고라 예보들 띵거들 추산내로 샤야 단체는 되고 있어.
So also feet, the earlier said like a left leg is a kind of inside, right is outside, and sometimes people have to have left is inside, right is outside, and there's a conceptual comes. So it's just each individual have their own physically body condition to some naturally like to right one is inside and left one is live outside. Some like to right one is out, left is in. So whatever comfortable for you according to your physically condition, and just do that one. So don't have to worry about I cannot do the left is inside, the right is out, they have to be right out, and this so it's not necessary to worry about too much typing on the computer. So this is a body posture is important, but sometimes we have this must be right this way, must be left this way, must be right hand is a top, left hand is a bottom, or must be this. We have this kind of like a structure, and when we're meditation purpose of a meditation is bringing mind into the peace, relaxedness. But then when you have this kind of worrying some of and must be this one, must be that way, then it build more conceptual. Then through the meditation to mind become a more
Neurotic.
yeah, no, I don't know that one. More
Contrived, too contrived? No.
It's like so tight.
Mentally unstable.
No. More mind agitation. Yeah, so it's unnecessary. So don't worry about the right or left, which one is go first. So main point is that don't grasping on too much on those. Because when you try to perfect, try to maybe for if you become a Mr. Perfection, then you're not going to repeat it continually. In later it will give up. So don't worry about the perfection. Yes, multi-watch you see.
I have a question. Sorry for my ignorance. What happened to those people who have problem with their back? Those people who have accident, so their spine is, they have they have scoliosis because of the accident, or maybe because of their age, can they obtain peacefulness?
Mi jab thola do jotos.
Oh,
Monte
really?
dab son jota, jengo jone jab tijimaja. Ta to la rewas your best.
와 요래서 다 당도 최선이 가면 신의 내 당고디 시니 제발의 윤대 시에요. 이네 조 당도 시에고 신도 생기 시원내야 제도를 봐. 류대한 된다 된바래 잠시월 다 고고 단대기 류된디 초라치미는 생초라 단도 지양을 봐. 된데 주주 셈을 봐야 고델이야 그런 콜시엔도 될이야 생기 윤대 시에고 다 생기 윤대 개체모 이게 만약에 밀어야 뉴지인데 대시 대생인데 차르자는 게 종종 나버치는 야르고 다 되면요 내가 생인데 조던 치 시에는 야랑 치를 차르.
So this is not necessarily always have to be a healthy body. You know, so because whatever we say here about the posture of the body is all about the mind bring into the meditation. So if someone is I have that kind of condition, someone have that kind of condition of that physically not capable, then don't have to worry about the physically. No, just try to learn how to focus on the mentally on the meditation.
I had to lay down for many years with impunity.
이게 가는 최선인데 제출 시에고. 이게 최 근데 배는 도지로인데 가나도 도지로인데 또 뒤에는 매스 시에도. 신다 도창다 하나 멤버스로 시에. 사실 내면은 도들로 봐면서도 이게 되게 많아. 가리가 바로 가리 뒤주 그런 거 그런 괜찮은데 이做的 참, 누가 做点的点过。이가 그런 거랑도 다 내주대로 되네. 그런 식으로 좀 이 개침으로.
So Dharma practice is mainly is I mean you know at the moment or at that circumstance at this like when we read the some sutra, seems like so that sutra is the only you know highest one. They look like so you don't need anything else beside this sutra. Anything read. So those is that try to point of the you know point out our qualities by expressing this way. So that way, whenever that moments, some need to talk about the physical posture, and some may need to more explain about the mentally how to you know concentrate. So it's not always be just you know menu menu way, you know, and it's like unchangeable menu. You don't have to be focused on that something. So whatever at the moments, whatever necessary, whatever you know main what called the focus, yeah, and on that just emphasizing. And so certain beings need to talk about the physical posture, and some people not necessarily need to talk, especially some people who are not capable to physical posture. Then for them is a better talking about the how to mental bring to the stabilize without you know just learning how to sit.
또 생기 내차도 시행도가 다탐 물리네디 장기 아니 장심 내차니야 시행도です. 등등가 르네기 내차도 시행도가 기타나라도 르진데 쓰기 쇼쳐보고 왔어. 배는 알아도 강고디나 주도가 뭐네 제위는 르네랑 지금 셈디 랑 지금 좀 친구랑 매버지 용비나 콜로시기 이나 대대위는 콜랑을 하기 그 강고 디나라고 뭐부지도 부지 차도 뭐저게 로스 좀 부지 쳐고 이는 말한도 강고 디나 레론으로 나스니 로가 찬데 강고 디나이 다 길좀 배수로 차차도 디차 안도가 다좀 코바 마포 sem 내 맵차차 오늘 저희는 랑 속이 다가랑 단들레 되가 나스에 매비는 강고 다가 뭐부지 차대로 sor어지는 당신이 내차 코라간 레고.
So it's just the mind's game, you know. When we have a more like a grasping of the ourselves, then whatever is part of the this bothering some, like for example, when we enter into the house, if our self have a less grasping, self-cherishing, and become a more relaxable, one more relaxable, and we even this if you sit in the house room, that you become a part of the room, and you're not going to be worrying too much, worrisome. Just become a more relaxedness. But when you have a self-cherishing, then then all is like everything about me, and from there to then. No more troublesome of the thought.
어다 디게스 레도 소소다 게쯤에 차한테는 대소소 마티 쇼처치 이거는 대승 묘목이 쳐도
So when you are self-cherishing, the self-grasping is increasing, self-grasping increasing, then all the emotion also, based on that, then all the emotion will be increasing. Then me, my place, my water, my this and that, and there's like too much on the focus on the based on the self-cherishing too, then all other is become a part of the increasing the negative emotion.
다 됐다 우리가 좀 류지 독당 소라다 이 내처디서 우리 독당이야 우신사도가 다 생긴 내처라 미ቆ라야 당만 남주인은 다 된제 데미스 가능만 쉬자 다 된제 미ቆ라 지당기 충분 다 말아서 네 또 띄울라서 야나 산지 그 충분히 저는 야고 단데 지당군의 시주는 나와이도 가능하나 같이 당신의 탐지 도모와 되는데 아마 남배 제주를 지인들과는 산지 진로 구조가 제도인데 산지 그 충분히 다 대봉상 충분히나 나는 네 랑다 dundushani orwa but the dundushani du kan mag ma thega ma na zil den du kan na zil dung sa che orwa those kirun je sar ma de in na zil dung thega dig sa ji di kan ma and sanji ku in da di u chi sha sha oh understand tim mag ma ta bi na and ran xin ge mag za de ning za so de xie zhuo de din du kan ning za de za de mag ma ta du kan ya tin de so de jin du ran xin ge ko lu da 그 원국 주주 관에게 남도 용을 땅 din du kan 한국 공무원들 먹도 마토도 때 다토는 야고
So
남도 시야제
so this for the kind of like releasing the conceptual or afflictive emotion of conceptual thought, there's one for the meditation is basically there's two kind of meditation, Cultivating meditation, with the focal object, without focal objects. So with the focal object, there's many different things. Generally, Cultivating meditation is a common meditation, not just only Buddhism. Since it is a common meditation, you can use any focal object, like a small stone or a flower or anything, common meditation. Long as you can use as a focal object, you can use them. Since we're a Buddhism, if you visualize the small Buddha, like thumb size of a Buddha, small Buddha, and when you visualize in small Buddha, your eye gaze direct toward to the nose, to the front of the you, from like when you're gazing through just tip of the nose and whatever in the front, gaze there, and you visualizing there's one Buddha, small size. So the one reason is they say is eye nerve is connect to the heart. So when I gaze down, pull up the nerve of the heart, kind of like a stretch on the nerve, and it become a less conceptual by that. So it bring you to the some degree of relaxing by that one. So that way to train as a gazing eye, come by the meditation, gazing eye to the direct to the point of the nose. Yeah.
아디데 전리게는 아니 심디 조데 둥게 랑 둥게 태 투베 고이 민참 저와 당고지 미국의 민참 되게랑 샤네 다 미국 쓰지 또 같이 전부 디간네 tenshi sum tempo ngane sepun ngane tagara ne chetu ta res te te debe kapsule ta sem ngana musu chingmu kusura te da ji ni nyo to te mambo re yong res te jin de ga jin ku yong lo chu tan ku yong zo xie ne jin da nam da ku de ku me da cha ta ku yong su to ga ya te chu ngana zo chingmu de sang ya sang to che 다 되네 양디 상토도 체도 숙체 다 이거는 양심 고거 고야 만남도 많은 거. 남도 많은 거는 양 수심 두 되는 양 몇거지 수 두배 면상 수 다토비나 되게 배 양지 핀 거였어.
Minsan subo kawa nungdar kis. So when you gaze into the Buddha, first just focus on the what called this
Third eye.
third eye or join other, Minsan.
Eyebrows.
Yeah,
The eyebrow.
yeah.
Eyebrow. Most of my
This eyebrow. Here, okay, whatever. Just concentrate here, Buddhas. Okay, just focus on that area. But when you're doing that one, at certain point, you may have a kind of called a dullness, a kind of sleepy darkness can happen. Then you can, if that happens, then you move the focus as a whole body. Try to see the whole body of the Buddha. But then when you're looking whole image, larger image that way, sometimes it also can cause to agitation, conceptual. Then bring back to the third eye,
다 간다 단대기 생기 단다디 진시 땡부 체내기 몇번 등 몇번들라 땡야디 존재디 생기 짐야디가 르야니 니 짐르 짐부 치쳐보레스 땡이가 단다 토마를 먼저 범장도 거서 이 짐르 짐부비 장도 어떻다고 그랬어 땡이가 당고 제인들가야 하는 갑술에 단다 시에버는시 남유만하고 생기 짐탑이 교육고 그냥 짐탑도 가는 게 깔레 가도로 내가 가리는 차고 심 숙체다 뭐부터 숙체 장들 이 깔레 간디 녀도 독도 창고 이 이건 dim면 양심이 회자요 차요 진짜 진도가 랑게 심 점류를 지 최의 신고 당보디 이 최의 신양 딱 차시는 거 당보디.
So this why we switching from the focal object of the third eye, eyebrow to whole body. As a reason, as this switch is exercising the mind, bring into the what called the measure of not tight or not loose. How to say this? Kind of medium, yeah. So so that's the truth by doing this switch and bring to the balance of and then later in the point we can bring to the there's kind of like a not too tight, not too called the equal. I can say no.
Mutual.
Yeah, mutualize from the tightness and relaxedness. Neutralize, yeah, neutralizing from the tightness and the relaxedness. So that is an exercise of trying to find where's the neutralize. That one. So that way, until you find that state of the neutralize of the mind, you have to do this exercise.
네, 제가 점유를 지하들이야. 유는 건 제스 당보디. 이 튼충충 지하 개침도 정말 뇽츠 얘는 장가만 들었지. 튼충만 제가 이제 이 쌤들 점유를 이 시험이나 지단기 초에 통해 된거. 그래서는 이 레거를 제일 대장의 쌤들도 배 점치는 그 배도 수수 기부 매봤어요. 그렇죠? 양을 회다를 지금 강양 맞추고 배 집을 좀 많이 봐. 그 dimly rimbu the leg tone in the kanji tone the social pain was 性真实的现我，就是
So this mind bring into the mutualize or neutralize of that it's a benefit for us even the everyday like when you're doing something, some people do too much, you know, and then you totally lost in doing too much on that, and some people do nothing. So both are not really healthy. So you just do, you know, like a kind of like a without totally losing in there, or without totally forgetting, you know. So just bring to the balance. So it's bring to the everyday life. By learning this way to everyday life, is become more balanced.
对，就刚刚性格真的主的，让每次的制作的那个的，说说这我呢就让他们流了，用下的，这全差不多了。
So by learning this kind of meditation and everyday life, and it brings us to more relaxedness, you know, so more comfortable, you know, within the society. Also make you not become a too tight or too loose person.
他第一就讲了，谈这个美国的了，查下面呢，谈的需要个去考试了，完全不满意嘛，是吧？的用不起，当然怎么说呢？ 这谈的些个东西，你谈的你这当个固定的就固完全不在满意吧？这当然是啥个差在说那个的，完全不满意不起啊，开清不了是。可是说那个当的谈的第一个生产慢慢的呀，流过的是，用不就讲的呀开清。那么咱们那说每天的考虑是呢，跟流个东家切差异呢，然后是美国慢那边的，让个些个的是，另一对讲了，卡出强了。 强动过去，晓得吧？这当说是他年自己，他跟那哈拉姆这个自己强动过去，怕卡在这边呢。这是可能从两个大，我们说云南个嘛搞不出来钱，那你在这边呢，然后生年吃了别平个意思，你可生年绝对可能可特别这个意思。
So earlier I said. So earlier I said you have to stop to 2 feet. So that is here now, because when you have two wise, you know, wise open and wide open, too wide open, and you lose your focus. So as the best way is maybe you face just as a wall. See that there's a stop. I'm not kidding you, but you thought I'm kidding. Facing to the wall, like lots of like especially in Zen tradition, they do that one. So that is a method how to not become our view as a too wide. So and that image or statue not so bright. Brightness also become what's called conceptual, not so bright also. So kind of like a kind of more like a medium or less too bright. So don't be shiny one, you know.就是洗吧，现在的 short break。你是这个，那什么去告诉你的？作为几多个怎么得到的这大姐姐？
你是叫那龙井图书店龙井公的。
那是。What you said? Want to take a break or to continue?
Break.
Short break.
Short break, please. Break. Last one question, Kimbo.
Yeah.
I hope you know what. 1 minute. As a practitioner and a beginner, what is the best practice for abiding for a beginner or, you know?
Advance. What you asking? What beginner?
I'm
and
asking
advanced?
for the
Just the
beginner, and I don't know what you mean advanced, but
Advanced in what?
you know, as you practice along, what is the best by breathing, breathing exercise, meditation, or the one that you are teaching? Because this is new to me that I heard from you that we have to focus meditation on focus in between your eyebrow, focus on the Buddha, and then if you're to neutralize that is to widen your I don't know, focusing or imagination. But what is the best it depends on the practitioner, on the person. As a beginner.
That need let amoba nam la yasho kares kashe kesana pe that susuke that temata and of the condition yasho the kares that let amoba chila.
야슈 빠져 들어간다. 나랑 상물을 했던 거를 야슈 써야지 요 말했어. 근데 지금 늘 정보 있나. 니가랑 내 야슈 지랑 야슈 용시야. 한번 시험을 최소 이제 소소로 다 코로나 터랑 망고지 땡 그랬어. 이 나는 소소 그 괜찮이 땡 그랬는데 최근에 세상 평균의 시험 난 것은 최랑 수다야 그랬어. 터랑 상물로 수랑 수다야 참. 근데 랑의 시를 간절히 랑 수편도 없나? 다디 살랑랑가는 무슨 약슈들이 이수수군에 장고거든. 이모쇼그 디코야 녀디 약슈리 러버 잠기 지난 핑거 말했어. 인도가는 산제기 덴제기 신내 덴미 신내 송과 좀제대로 가시엘 덴제 전에 고슴내 가시 덴미 전에 내체 인도가는 개발장 말했어.
There's no best one. My best is not necessarily best to you. Your best is not necessarily best to me. So we have to figure out what is more suitable to ourselves, which one is more comfortable to. That reason Buddha gave a many different, because we're all the beginner. When saying it's a for the beginner, we're all the beginner. So there's no best for the, generally there's no best. Individually, we have to figure out what is the best for ourselves. By doing that too, one day you will figure out, one day you will find out some method are more suitable to yourself, more comfortable to you. So that reason Buddha have to give him a variety of with the focal object, without the focal object, with the wind, without the wind, and those all lots of different buffet is a reason is because everyone is not same.
인도가 뭐라도 수수그 문에 재미 단다 시험은 생기랑당게 코랑 그 윤대요. 인도가 탈랑디가 라인도가 수수그 정신 그 당고. 이 당윤도가 셈을 지당 그 펜토버지 리그레스. 이 리도가 메고 타게 간에 문에 고 당기 가상 이거는 지금 공부밖에 없지. 지금 검색 차고 참 템포 차도 디케 좀 차고. 디마체베 땅가라도 생그 당구 당셔제 네가 야고 나는 야 미직 딜레 야스지 야래서 네가 야 딜레 만타를 빼고면 생고스 디는 미고 보조 치 미고 보조 만타도가 다 셈네 다는 보다 네도 마스 딜레 다 당구랑 심카를 당하지 디셈 네차 니도 셈다 딜레 콤시 당구 중원에 템포 송다 되겠지.
So we have to examine it ourselves through the practicing, and then some point you will reach to the more comfort zone. Certain point, certain method are more comfortable than other one. You feel that way. Once you feel that one, then you have to continue. Because sometimes people try to do certain things, and then one day after the little while, then someone else said, no, this method is really good. Then you want to change that method. So then it means like a moving, changing, and become a really bad habit. And then you never get chance to actually train the remain on the focal object.
Well, 다 이게 공도 말하고 쌤이 시내라야 된제 시내되려야 다 당고 리네드 개정고 있는 네 이스 시터 타랑라는 것인데 아니 좀 미버들을 지당경하는 것에는 뒤로 당샤들 말아서 아니 도배불 쌤들이야 저 차라베스 이네 다 된제 라베시고 눈이야 된지 요게 시오레스 이거는 된들은 유랑 다시게 말하고 이게 아다부터 나서보다 망고 셔도 와서 되게 탐을 채는 주고 됐어. 수수 그 가리랑 그 셈들 메고 내된도 된투지 저기 네트야 이게 개체가 됐어. 이제 수수 그 당바차 도스 이소지 도스 이네 등기 시험 신도 미국 보조도 싫어 지도 말았어. 망고 니시 정부 기대 공부 때문에 중요한 개념 장.
So for the accommodating essential point of the body and essential point of the mind. Essential point of the body is to learn how to sit, posture, sitting posture. And the essential point of the mind, there's with the meditation with the support and meditation without the support, or with the focal object and without focal object you can do. And with the focal object, there's many, like earlier we mentioned, you can use it as any kind of object, like a statue, flower, stone, or syllable, or some kind of syllable. So once you find your comfort zone of a particular area, and make sure continue on that, without that changing so much, because in Tibetan called the po mean the move, job mean the sitting. So sitting and move and become a really bad habitude. So once you find the comfort zone or more comfortable, more than any other, then most important is make sure continue on that until gain kind of some degree of stability.
뭐야? 다들 지당의 된제가 다 미국에서 다 지난 남주 신다게 취망고를 때 템베 된제 미국 망고 요거리스 간다스면 된제 따당을 다 된제 지금 샤로치 체인지 된 부분이 많이. 다 되는 템미기다 말하는 것은 공야죠리스 다 템미 될이야 롱진다 롱미스 망고 시행 거리스 다 당고 말하는 템미 공유도 강이야. 아니 롱게 장가 자 공자 개정 장도스 인류간 롱창의 공자도 생긴 것들이 또래디 가와 샤샤를 하는 나우 나샤 나우니 여봐 나우니라고 장도간 다 가르치고 그래서 그간 토마르기 롱디 간소를 롱낭도 못 버티겠다 여봐 아 롱치를 막 요거 니죠 봐 디니 주고를 찌자 근데 낭고다 막 치를 펜버디 니죠 봐 디니 찌겠지 근데 쟤는 쓰면다 쓸모 상로도 있다 조 나오니까 나오니까 샤 대롱들라 심리기 대롱마 전부터 양고지 여러분 이니 제 근데 쟤는 찌죠 여러분도 찌죠 근데 쟤 당고 늘 근데 쟤는 게 아니 심신의 내덕이 롱단 제외 다 롱용목 때문에 신의 소라 세당 지고.
So without focal object or without support of the Kamapati meditation, with the wind and without the wind. So with the wind, first is there's called the counting. When counting, your mind is like at the door of the nose, just there, and then just counting the how many breathing, with so like breathe in and breathe out. Those two are count one. And actually before break, one thing I forgot is Rinpoche said, don't do too long for the first time, but do the mini time in one in one session. Do the many times. So the same way here. Many time. So like when we breathe exercise, this one is like do 7 times each session or each break.
So do many short sessions?
Yeah, mini short
Not
session.
too long. Okay.
Yeah, minis, one session, mini short break. Can say how to say this?
Short session.
In one, yeah, or so short
Short
session, maybe people
session.
may think that just stop then go.
short session many times.
In one session, many short session. Can say
Yeah.
many, yeah. That's like
다 인디가는 꼭 될래야 하수를 체도 지 정도 매봐. 양 통도 마예봐. 남유가 나랑 꼭 지단 거로 다 내라 섬찬 여러 딩컬이 제. 이 장거지 인디가 지단게 다스면 나는 장거지 주 요래라 얘기 때 증에서로 지금 düğün지 친구지 여러 라파냐는 뒤집니 근데 지금 düğün 오유 지금 düğün 차네 예서 텍스트 양 걸리를 전에 양 düğün 차 근데 쟤는 그다 검자 디싱을 야 오용우 디싱을 남도 시험 맞춰 지도 쌤도 조디다 용어 대당 다가다 쌤쌤데 여러분 전시 다게 강 향 때문에 지금 쌤타게 강 내도 내셔 다게 강 내도 되는 남도 원 마셔 지도 그거를 디타 딜이야 그 단다 시험시는 dünya 예수 테스트 양 dünya 예수 테스트 근데 düğünde 때 남도 용 남도 하람 출구문도 삼나 나는 düğün이 쭉 봐줘. 여러분 이제 저는 전부人루当这个얘네 토말 düğün 샤야 개천 버렸어. 근데 지금 düğün 나노는 남도 마샤는 잠을 내야 돼.
so. First, don't do too long. Just maybe do the breathing exercise 7 times. And take short break and do the 7 times, take the short break. But doing those 7 times, meantime is you make sure that don't interrupt your counting from conceptual thought without the interrupting, So one pointedly focusing on that without the interrupting. So the beginner, you don't need to do more than 7. 7 is a planets. Plenty. 7 is a plenty. So just do the 7 times and without the interruptions. But then slowly in the future, when it's becoming really comfortable, that 7 times is really comfortable, then you can increasing that one. But for the beginner, don't need to try to do so many, just do the like the 7 times and that one without any kind of interruption.
배주단 창고스 딘디가 기단도 배주 대비는 배 펜보스 근데 셈즘발에 강인스는 용을 내야지 알아서 용신이의 제대 창고스 남도 샤야지 용을 통대오스 딘디가 셈을 용디 시와 차면은 셈 남도랑 신 용고스 딘디가 고대강 공차 제비는 이거랑 내 지주지 창고스
So focusing focal object, I mean the using as a breathing as a object to the concentration. Yeah, say reason is the mind and the wind as a kind of like a supportive each other, a kind of like a inseparable. So more we concentrate on the mind, I mean the wind, this breathing, it can help to mind also bring into the calmness. So that way it is this by using focal object. No, I'm using the object as a can say object or I mean as a wind, breathing.
간다 근데 공시디 전시 조간다 기내도 조 전시간 받는 거였어. 인디가 말하고 남주 고월 내인디가 전시스도 니수라지 차한 거였어. 이내문에 그 말하고 무슨 심리법적 지금 약 전부터 쇼 전부지 때문에 시시디랑 신기랑 쇼고 내려 차대요. 디 전부터 대상이 뭐보디 누구보다 말인데 아니 시식은 누구보다 좋던 거 키워버렸어. 이제가는 아니 오늘 말하면 당고 tempo 그런 게 많으면 내차 미고 유를 这几多年啊，得了全部地方的要我拿出来的开全部效果的是。今天到日，他就没个跟你说着吧，说吧，你查他清楚了吧？那对了，细心的啊，从写不到写限度，让像他刚爬爬的，让细心的了呀，这句忙不忙去？忙不去下面呢，细心可能样可能给，那我让他们查了说不东西，那样那么多见我他说着。细心可能我的实查定名的，通常就不记得落脚了，通常他个人判断的东西是吧？你全部可能讲的，你全部的修切入的这个那切的修切入真的，那细细个人心，你可能你对讲了呀，那送这个 number 的强过的是，你真是送这个 number 的强，对讲了，那现在打我们几天把是强过的是。
So when we focus on the breathing. Also would always be with the mindfulness and watchfulness. Lots of time when you visit that because of those two names, mindfulness and watchfulness, seems like there always be two kind of method, can say, to bring to the mind to the meditation state. But those two are not really separated, mindfulness and watchfulness. Basically, mindfulness means the kind of like a try to stay on that focal object, and watchfulness is a kind of like a watching over the mindfulness, make sure that mindfulness is not forgetting that one. So when mindfulness is really become a more stable, then watchfulness is there's no necessary. But same time, even you are using the watchfulness, but don't analyze. Just long as enough the notice and without analyzing. Because if you analyze it, then mindfulness itself is a loss through the conceptual, So this is like sidetrack. So mindfulness' job is not analyzing on that conceptual. When you lose in mind, watchfulness. Watchfulness' job is not analyzing on the, like when we sidetracking from the mindfulness. So long as it give the information, long as it keep the track, mindfulness on the track, and you no longer need to do further investigation from the watchfulness, because if you try to further investigate from the watchfulness, then the watchfulness itself has become distraction, because it's a kind of like a losing, yeah. So basically, watchfulness is a long as it keep the mindfulness on the focal, whatever that focusing, and as long as you keep that one, then watchfulness is unnecessary to try to interrupt on that, yeah. So that way you don't need to try to any investigation or analyze on that.
我看到是那个美国忙不去写我的他的写东西，呈现的你们呢，你是那个从这个那块的查出来的，他现在集团把去我呢去查过，就是你就讲当然就他那个现在带着工作是吧？现在写一些工的这样的开修的。
That's so when that one point is get to that these two, mindfulness and watchfulness, become kind of inseparable, and that is the called the Jithumba. It means that it's like a actually Kamabhiti meditation. That is become a really actually Kamabhiti meditation. So not just like a kind of a pretending, it's not like getting there. It's already got there. So these two, mindfulness and watchfulness, as a no matter what method you use, support with support or wind with wind, but no matter what, most important is always make sure that mindfulness and watchfulness maintain continuing. and other part of the method or other method of so whatever you're using according to your comfort zone. It's okay. Then this is not just only topic to discuss. Mostly this is a subject to meditate. So it's better just try to exercise through the practice than just talking only. So maybe we'll go through some meditation on this mindfulness, and we'll come up by the meditation.
이 문제는 등이 참나 아니 얘기 대직 동요스라 등 참다 차선 아니 네 동주가는 저랑 수시기 신다 상 마동스라 반예수 되고 근데 네가 자도 장송 선비가는 야 저랑 성물로 수수랑신 그 롱진들이야 좀 미거든 수수 제용을 지스 아니 동요 네 동주가는 야 예수 되고 지스.
So basically Rinpoche said he will beat the gong. Each between the session, you're only allowed to breathe 7 times. No more than that. Your oxygen have a limitation. Okay. So okay, jokes finish. And now Rinpoche said we will do practice a little bit. So okay, so now serious. Rinpoche said they will do small sessions each time, and every 7 times at the breathing, and he will ring the sinking ball, and then you when you ring the sinking ball, relax. You relax until the sound stop. When the singing ball sound stop, then you again start breathing, 7 times, breathe out, breathe in 1, breathe out, breathe in 2, without the other conceptual interruptions. Then when they reach to the 7th time, again Rinpoche ring the singing ball, and there we should take short break. So that is a part of the exercise today. That's all.
인도강 등기 쉬우신도 아니 tunchung치아의 개체물이스로 딩가랑조 스노 공식 박자 삼딩 박자내야 개체물 창고래서 예 삼딩 주고 많이 봐 담배 취치 되간에 즉 각수를 담보 걸는 것이 좀 보시오 제네 클리 마유 두고 왔어 이제 많이 봐 가리 내가 가리 있는 균중치가 개체물처럼 만화도 류젠진이 차례 류젠문에 류젠이 코베드고 다베 투 야군 투지 투시를 베드고 니머지에 맞춰 제는이나 디코 다랑 되고 왔어 아니 베 나와 두두강 주도니 손체드네 양다지 지도야 거를 수부다랑 차도 하고 자고디네 딜렁시도 디두강 공시디 코랑 상고지 차대지 전부시 멤버 오늘 랑두그 셈나네 가토이 땡조이 제대로 정보이나 최제도 되다고 정보이나 대랑은 남샤고 초안한 그 차진지 차시지 인도 소소 배지고 최진이 간에 배 지지지진 지워 뭐쇼 저 데블로지는지 까는지 또 마치는 nembo에 매더니 소리가 되게 많이 먹어 당한 민지 톱서도 나고 이니까 최마진 마대를 인데 많이 최대 제인전에 지 가동이 나 제도전에 아니 소소를 몸에 편대로 차대었어.
So this 7th session is also necessary to bring to the kind of like a long-term continuum, so that help to by exercising short session, because Dharma is a long period of time is important. Some people it's like same as people go to the gym. You go to a few months, so many days, every day to go to the gym. And after the few months, then you just relax for a few months. Then you go back to the same shape before you start the gym. So it's not going to continue. People who stay the good shape, because they maintain every day, like continuing, same schedule. So don't try to do too much and don't try to do too little, because if you try to do too much and it will burn out, then you're not going to start again and you not have enjoyable, feeling of enjoying for doing that one. So Dharma is you have to have a build that some kind of like a comfortable, some kind of some degree of a comfortable that. So anytime you want to start, you feel like a joyful, you get joyful. Oh, I want to start this one. Otherwise, it become like a,
Effort,
no, it's become like a
work.
torture.
Oh.
Oh, I have to do this one because I have this name, or it's just kind of like a, and it not have the feeling of joy doing that one, and then you become a more like burden. Burden, yes, it become a more like a burden, and it's not going to give you the more joy. So shouldn't do that one. So that way it's just small one, and that make it more us comfortable. Now we should go through. So after the 7 times breathing, and Rinpoche will sing the ball, or how to say? Play the ball. Yeah, play the ball.
된 나도 농전이 신내 보면 지난 거 갑자기 수술 남도 소화를 잘도
When you meditate on this with the breathing, how you feel?
이 바다에 타는 장가들 남도 용어도 더
When you counting this, breathing in and out, is there any kind of thought or not?
At the beginning, no.
뭘 용문에서
음,
시사했어요.
요거를
At the beginning. Third round, lots of.
당부 용문에서 할 때는 갈래갈래 용문에서.
그래 걸리 용거를 띵류가 하나 씌워놓지 튼용용체니 내 잠깐만 손을 다디 공지 제고와 개체고 작업했어. 나 공지 제일강 수주하고 당보쌤 야오지 롱롱고랑 떡이 왔다. 이거 심. 단 이번에 될 효양 좀 와. 그 효양 좀. 인들 당기디 대스 유릉고 차고 미소소도 개봐요. 가시를 줘서는 대중은 예술해 야마치셔고. 이제 당대들만 지를 다 상담하는 예술을 때 유진 샤워. 저 뭐에 대스 줘서는 대중만. 이는 미국들의 가서를 인지 미지 수심 롱del 수심된 때도 다비 다 주적도 꼭 둬야 돼 개점 차고 그랬어.
So this is a first coming, then slowly getting worse. Is a kind of losing. So it's a supposed to be the break should be shorter, and the breathing, length is individual have different. But right now we're just doing the short way, and but the individual is each one have their own number. So that way.
대단히 안에 가시기 꼭 용을 개봐. 남주 내가 시고 오나도 정 인들 정을 진짜로 그런 정도 단 개치는 아 가시 오나도 오나 통을 진짜로 그런 통 와. 그다 오나 통을 진디 당보디 오나 통을 가는 장들 반남도도 뉴뉴뉴도 가나 야 오나데 때 정을 당 오나 정을 당 근데 진짜 다 르르치는 수수 남도 뭐 시아도 다 타블랑 수수 채우고 르르르
So you had 1 point, now it's gone down. You lost your extra point. So this breathing individual is different. Some have naturally longer breath, some have shorter breath. So according to the breathing, just use that way. And each shorter one is first is just do as a just nature way, whatever. Then if you increase a little bit length, and it's good. No. So today we're going to stop our session here. So now important is to continue this, wherever you stay, like today, where you're going, but just even you go back, you try this, and just try to continue on that. With that and dedication.
One more question. In my practice, after dissolving the nation, I do that breathing exercise. Is that correct?
뭔가 냠내 지대 잡발라 두림 기체라 breathing 지겨든 디그레스.
드림이지. 가래도.
기담 두림이지.
아니, 걔는 저거를 개봐요, 말이지. 이게 또 수수.
anytime.
When they tell you, damgi Quran shine chade, Jidang Girim del. And then Jidang Zorim del Durim del Tool, the Gala, Jidan Demi, when they say that these sort of cha or is it was named the shaving.
When this deity yoga practice and come by the meditation, visualizing the deity generation stage is more like a come by the meditation with the focal object, and dissolution is a more like a come by with meditation without the support or focal object. So itself is becoming part of the karma binding. But it's okay to do whenever you have chance. Yeah. It doesn't matter what time, as long as its mind is calm. Anytime, it's okay. Yes.
Question.
Yes.
What would Rinpoche say about, I have the issue of my nose. I have like the infection. Whenever I breathe in and out, the right nostril is kind of clogged, so I can feel that the air doesn't come in and out as easily. And it's hard to not think when like the air is being obstructed, air's being blocked, but the infection. Any advice Rinpoche could give on how to not think about it? Just think about suchness. Just the right.
Ting long nabu ne jima tabu ga jima jima ting long de man nem den de ma me bo de ma de wal ma sha long de the nem na ma de shan to
So Pumbache.
no pumba je ta ora je pumba ra me bo je long ne su ba de
Just it's called surprising the wind.
Okay.
Surprising the wind. So just as for you, as just after the breathe in and swallow with and push down and hold there. Then let go. So it's better than just counting as.
Almost like what you taught us a couple days ago.
Yeah,
Okay.
Like almost like a face breath.
yeah, it's kind of almost that way.
no ye ga yun ga ke ba yo ye ga so ye ga
Infection.
de cha ye ga na ye wo le no ye ga na ko do re ya
Just say it's better to clock the right one.
Yeah.
Yeah, if your left is a clock,
Uh-huh.
ready to goodbye.
Thank you for the good news.
So not bad. Yeah.
근데 다 리제트도 강이야. 조연 연몽을 좀 리제트 제다야 거스. 그래서는 예 자디의 펜 그래서 내가 롱향
So if you do some kind of exercise, do mostly as the left side of the body, left hand. It's more you what called the
Use the left.
left side of the nerve stretch, and this nose is becoming better.
Okay.
So this is like the left side of the channel or the nerve is related to the right side of the wind.
You chopstick use like that.
Yeah, so forward can use my left side more.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at the end of this prayer book, back, dedication prayer start. By this merit, may I achieve harmony and having defeated all enemies that fall,
May I liberate all beings from the ocean of samsara existence and its pounding waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death. May the precious supreme mind of awakening arise where it has not yet arisen. May it not decline wherever it has arisen, but ever increase more and more. The hero Manjushri who knows how, and likewise Samantabhadra, I follow their path and fully dedicate to all these virtues. By the blessing of the Buddha who attained the three kayas, by the blessing of the truth that is the unchanging reality itself, and by the blessing of the community that is the undivided Sangha, may my prayers bear the fruit that accords with my dedication. By the virtues accumulated in the three times by myself and all of samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may all sentient beings and I quickly attain the unsurpassable, perfect, complete, and precious awakening. May the teachings of the Dragompa Rajashri, who perceives all that can be known, omniscient Lord of the Dharma, with mastery over the vital point of dependent origination, be upheld through hearing, contemplation, and meditation, the places of study and practice until the end of samsaric existence. Through the blessings of the truth of the Kagyu Lamas, the three jewels, Yidam deities, Dakinis, and Dharma protectors, may the spiritual and worldly legacy, as well as the monasteries of the second Nagarjuna, flourish and prosper. May the hostility of adversaries, no matter how violently they act, be pacified, and may there be perfect auspiciousness, happiness, and goodness. By the power of the virtues accumulated through Sho, in accord with the Buddha's teaching, the unmistaken path of the utterly pure intent, may the teachings of the Dragompa Ratnashri, our 10th Bhumi protector, flourish and remain forever.
All of it.